Hi, my name's Steve Brown, and I'm 59 years old, and I live in Columbus, Ohio. I'm an ex-Marine, spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, spent several years in the Army National Guard, been all around the country. Uh, Now I have type 2 diabetes, and I have an eye disease called RP, better known as Retinitis Pigmentosa. I believe part of my blindness came from working with radiation in the service, which, as you know, the government will always say no, just like they have water contamination at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina now. They have a survey going on, but will we ever get paid for it? Probably not. Just like Agent Orange. They said Agent Orange. There was no Agent Orange in Vietnam. Now that most of the people have died from it, now they're starting to pay people for it. But my problem is I like to do something like maybe take massage therapy. But in order to take massage therapy, it takes money, you know. Since you don't drive, you got to find a way to get to the school, get from the school. Uh, the buses only run a certain time, so that makes it hard. And where I live at, the bus does not come up here to my home to pick me up. I'd also like to do something like or should I say, I'd like to have something like a 4GS phone, because the phone I have right now is a jitterbug phone. And with this jitterbug phone, it's a nice phone for people that can see, but for me to scroll down there to see where the phone book is, to get somebody's number, I can't do that. And this phone don't talk to me. And in the daytime, for me to see how to dial this phone in the daytime, it's absolutely impossible. So the 4GS phone would work fine for me, but all these things takes money. I live on a very limited income, enough to pay my rent, enough to pay my household bills, and that's primarily it. So if there's anybody out there that'd like to donate some money to my cause, I'd definitely appreciate it. Or if there's anybody out there that has an eye disease and knows what a CCTV is, I have an extra CCTV that I would like to sell. If you contact me, maybe we can figure out how much I want for it. I have 4 kids. I have a son, 3 daughters that are very talented, very smart. I appreciate them and I love them. If I have to go someplace now, I depend on them 100%. To go to the store, I have to call and beg them, hey, could you take time out of your work or whatever to get places? And, it's rough living with RP. It's a blinding eye disease. There's another little thing I want to do. It was like with the ministry. Do you remember what the name of that is?
Supernatural ministry.
Yeah, like supernatural ministry. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but my daughter had a knee problem here a few days ago, and she was walking so bad that she was barely dragging her right foot, and she was going to go to the store and get some crutches to help her walk. And she was dragging her foot and she was crying, and as she was going into Walmart, a man walked up to her and said, excuse me, he said, I noticed you got a problem with your legs. What's wrong with your leg? And she said, I have my knees bother me, and I'm coming in the store to see if I can buy some crutches so I can walk. And he said, do you mind if I pray for you? And he put his hand on her shoulder and he prayed for her, and he says, do you feel any heat or any kind of sensation? And she said no. And next thing you know, she lifts her leg and she's twisting her leg, and she's like, wow, what happened? And she's crying, and she's, it just, the pain went away, and it just instantly went away, and it was like a supernatural healing, which, God dispatches his angels of healing and angels of health and whatever to you. And that's how in the Bible that different people got healed by different people in the Bible, was because God dispatched his angels for that. And she forgot to get the man. She didn't get the man's name because she was so excited. She didn't get the man's phone number because she was so excited. But he did tell her what church he went to. And that church has this supernatural healing school, and I'd like to go to it. But it's it's probably 30 miles, maybe farther from where I'm at. So for me to get there, that would be rough to do that too. So But if I had the money, I could get maybe some type of ride there or something. Even if I had to take a cab, I'd like to go do something. And maybe I can help some other person out there that has some type of disabilities. You know, I think that's about all I got to say about that. You have any questions for me there, my middle daughter?
Okay. How long have you had RP?
I've had retinitis pigmentosa. I think I was diagnosed with it probably 35 years ago, and like I said, I'm 59 now.
Okay. For the people that don't know what RP is, do you want to give like a little definition to what exactly it is?
It's just a sight-stealing disease that steals your sight. For me to have central vision, like to look straight down, I have very, very limited vision to look straight down. For me to look at somebody and tell if they're male or female, to look straight at them, I could not do it. To see color, I see no colors. Everything to me is black and white. That's why when I walk, sometimes you'll see me with my cane. I'm tapping like this, but I'm looking out the side of my
Peripheral
head
vision?
Over here, if I hold my fingers in front of me like this, I can't see how many fingers I got up.
Mm-hmm.
But I can hold my finger to the left or to the right, and I can see how many fingers I got up, which don't make sense to a lot of people, but that's the way it is when you got RP. Also, I'd also like to say I'm single also. 59 and single, so.
Okay. Is it hard to, like your everyday tasks, just waking up in the morning, cooking, your everyday tasks that you do around the house, is it difficult for you to do?
Yeah, most things is fairly difficult. Being single, I do my own things around the house. I clean my own house. Every once in a while I have my grandbaby Cameron will come over and say, Papa, there's a dead bug on the floor. It's like, oh, okay, that's came in when the door's been open or something like that. There's a dead bug laying in the window or something like that. I don't have bugs, but anyhow. And to cook, to put grease in a skillet or something, cooking oil in the skillet, sometimes you can't see how much you're putting in there. To pour milk in just a simple task, to pour milk in a cup. I have to hold the cup over the sink and make sure I put my fingers around the edge of the lip of the jug to make sure I pour it in the cup. If you're making hamburgers, if you forget which one you've already flipped, you may go back and flip the other one over again, and you've flipped it on the side that's already been cooked once. So, yeah, all things are tough being blind. Yeah.
Are you scared about losing your vision? And if so, is there anything that you would like to do, before your vision gets worse than it already is?
It's always scary losing your vision. Your vision and being able to talk or hear is three of the essential things that you need. And losing your vision would be just absolutely, if you lost it completely, would be devastating. Like I said, things I'd like to do, I'd like to go to Rio de Janeiro, I'd like to go to Africa and go to the outback and just see what I could see. I'd like to go to Australia just to see what I could see there. I'd like to do that. And I'd like to go to the Holy Land just so I can say, I walked where Jesus walked. Maybe go to the Nile River and wash my face in the Nile River. You never know. Other people, back in the Bible days, washed their face in the Nile River and they was able to see, or they did this, they did that, and you never know what happened. Miracles do happen. So it can be frightening not knowing if you're going to wake up in the morning and have an RP. I could go to bed tonight, wake up in the morning, and boom, I can't see no more. I could be walking down the street with my little cane, tap, 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 and all of a sudden, I can't see nothing at all. It's like your vision's gone. It's all over. It's sad. It's scary.
Okay. Well, I thank you for doing this interview with me and letting others know as well about this blinding eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. So thank you really so much for doing this interview.
And like I said, if anybody has any money they want to donate to help me to go to these schools, or maybe to help me get this phone, and I don't want a phone just because, hey, it's the 4GS and it's the new thing out. It's because it talks to you. I can talk to it and say, hey, call my daughter so-and-so, or hey, call Dr. so-and-so, or like here a few days ago, I had what's called vertigo, which vertigo is a thing where you lose your balance, and you're drunk, and I'm thinking, wow, I was drunk and didn't even feel the effects of didn't even have the effects of the alcohol itself, which I don't drink. But vertigo, you'd be walking, or you'd sit up and your head would just take off rolling this way, like, and you'd have to almost catch your head and pull it back. I had motion sickness with it. You know, I couldn't call anybody on my phone then because I couldn't see the dollar. Where if I'd had a phone that I could talk to, I could pick it up and say, hey, call the doctor, call 911, or do something else. But I couldn't see the dollar phone. I was so sick. So, you know, anybody has any money they want to donate to me, I definitely appreciate it.